The following is a Hoop Ball presentation. Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a Hoop Ball presentation. My name is Neil Rochlani, and currently my Twitter handle is @ballwithneil, but I'm looking for suggestions to make that better and maybe match with the one, the only, my co-host, Adrian Benjamins. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Neil. Another Friday here. We're inching closer and closer to the start of the season. I saw a Twitter post today. We're 40 days away from the start of the season. Preseason starts on the 28th, which is about 22 days away. Neil, this is crazy, man. We're getting so close here. Are you excited or what?
I'm excited. And, by the time this show comes out, we'll be 21 days away from the preseason. Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today, preseason starts, and drafts are probably starting before then. Hoop ball leagues are still open. You can hit me up on Twitter. Follow me, follow Dan, follow Hoop Ball. Hit us all up on Twitter or go to the forums and request a league. I have been doing some mocks, Adrian. I thought I saw you on a mock draft the other day. I was in a league, and the first person in there, their name was Adrian, and I was like, that has to be Adrian Benjamins. But no, it was not you. I texted you right away like, hey, we're in a mock together, but we weren't. Have you been on there? Have you been doing as many as me?
I have taken a week hiatus away from the mock drafting to last minute crunch focus on fantasy football. I had a football draft last weekend, and I literally crammed like 2 days before to study for it. So the last week I've just been tuned into football. I'm switching back to basketball, Neil. You will see me in those mock drafts. I will not be surprised if you and I accidentally end up in the same mock draft room. But Neil, tell me, you've been doing these mock drafts lately. What's changed? What are you noticing? Are there any new lessons that you're learning from these mock drafts?
I don't know if there's new lessons, just some confirmation that we had talked about last week on our show about the dearth of centers, right? Quality centers. Obviously, there are a lot of centers in the league, but quality centers are not many are available, like you said, as you were talking today on the earlier show. I find when I don't take centers early, I just don't like the build of my team.
Yes.
It's not that my team is, I don't know how it's actually going to do because this is all hypothetical. We'll see how the season plays out, but I just don't like it as much. So I think I am going to try to get 2 centers in the first 4 rounds or thereabouts. Obviously I'm not going to have these hard, fast rules, but I'm going to at least target some quality ones in the beginning and see where that leads me. I'm going to do some more mocks and kind of play around with it. But I know you've talked about this as well. So, no, nothing new, but just that confirmation. And I'm trying to, break that because I tend, once I get, a thought in my head, and I don't want to just do confirmation bias. I want to challenge it. So I'm trying to challenge it, and so far I've found nothing different. So that's what I got. Any thoughts on mocks that you've done so far that you want to talk about?
That was the big lesson that we're going to get in today, Neil, that you and I learned when we were done doing this mock draft with the listeners. I think both you and I found that our team was missing a center. We were short on the blocks, and I found exactly what you found, that it's the thinnest position, that after a certain round, I want to say about round 6, round 7, there's really no solid centers on the board anymore. And you're really, you can get point guards late. You can get wing players late. So you just can't get great centers late. So shore that up early. And as you said, Neil, anytime I don't go centers early, I usually think to myself when I look at my team when I'm done, man, I really could have used one more center. Man, I'm good everywhere, but I'm just missing some blocks. And, it's not easy to get blocks off of the wire. So anyways, Neil, we can't stress that enough. As of right now, that's the way it looks. That's the way it's shaping up. Let's see if it continues that way for the rest of the preseason leading into the season, or who knows, maybe things will change up a bit.
Yeah, maybe they will. And there are some decent ones. I mean, we can probably get into this later, but there are some guys who might get you a block or so and have decent percentages, or not kill you, but like you said, their wings can sometimes populate. There are some point guards that are kind of being drafted late, I think, given their value. But yes, centers tend not to lose their value and kind of slide through the cracks as much as other players. So speaking of which, do you want to move over to the second part of our mock from like 10 days ago now?
Yeah, so last Friday, we got into our mock draft that we did with the Hoop Ball listeners. We went through rounds 1 through 7. If you missed it, go back, check it out. And today we're going to finish up the second half of the draft, go through rounds 8 through 13. So we're going to go through the second half of the draft. And let's go round by round, Neil. Let's continue talking about these guys. Let's just, let's go through the entire round like last time, highlight the picks we liked, just things we thought were interesting, maybe picks we thought were wrong or that we hated. So let me get us started off here. The start of round 8, Richard took Jordan Bell at 96. Nick took Andrew Wiggins at 95. Christian Slick Rock with Trevor Ariza at 94. Neil, you took Jabari Parker at 93. Sean took Kristaps Porzingis. I took Dejounte Murray at 91. Fote with Deadman at 90. Drew with Jonathan Isaac at 89. Chef Ali with Isaiah Thomas at 88. Mr. Eric Ong with Larry Nance at 87. Josh D with Darren Collison at 86, and UPCC with Chris Dunn at 85. Neil, what are your thoughts on this round?
I like how you did the countdown backwards. Yeah, I forget that the
holy moly, I just did the countdown.
It's fantastic though. No, the even rounds, they snake back. So you were going. It's great.
Oh,
no, it's
man.
fine though. These are all 8th round picks, so it's much different now than like the first round. But anyway, I think the most. Well, there are a few things that stood out for me. The Chris Dunn pick, I think, is probably the best value at 85. He finished in the 50s last year in ACAT on averages. Obviously did not play that many games, so had some issues down the stretch in totals, but did well enough. His stat set is really, his field goal percentage isn't great, but his steals are great. He gets blocks for a point guard. His assists are fine. Does well in many categories. So I think Chris Dunn is someone, if I can get in the 8th round, I'd be very happy. Another one I like is Collison and Larry Nance Jr. I think Larry Nance Jr. is an interesting one because he is probably going to start. He might start at the 5, so or next to Kevin Love. I'm not sure who's going to play what position, but he could be just fine this year if he gets that starting position. So we'll see how that pans out. And then Porzingis was the other one I thought was interesting because who knows when he goes. I don't know if he's going to get drafted this early in real drafts in round 8, but if you're playing in a head-to-head and you can weather the storm, maybe it'll work out for you. I wouldn't take him this early. What are your thoughts on this round?
Yeah. Porzingis, he's way down on the ranking list when you get into Yahoo. I'm not sure if they've updated it yet, but he's so far down. I've done some mocks where he doesn't even go off the board. So I think this is kind of realistic here in round 8, pick 92 of where he could go in our real drafts. He's not going to be ready for the start of the season. The Knicks really have no reason to rush him. So he may miss a good 2 to 3 months of the season. And even when he comes back, he may play limited minutes for a while, likely not play back to back. So I think this is about right for him. The picks that really stood out to me, Jonathan Isaac at 89, a guy I really like drafting for the defensive stats. There is a little bit of question mark on him offensively. We haven't seen him kind of make that leap in his offensive game yet, and that's what's really holding back his value. So let's see if he can make that improvement this year. I really liked the Jordan Bell pick at 96. I think that's really sneaky. We talked earlier about the scarcity on blocks. I think Jordan Bell can really bring those defensive stats. I think he should have really good value at the beginning of the season while we're waiting for DeMarcus Cousins to get up to speed. So I really liked that pick. I was really happy to get Dejounte Murray at pick 91. I'm really high on Dejounte Murray this year. And I mean, I wouldn't mind even drafting him as high as round 7 or 6. So to get him in round 8, I felt really happy about that. Now, I did end up, I think, with like 7 point guards on my team. So in retrospect, maybe I should have went another direction right there. But I think I was just really excited to see him still on the board because I know in mocks I've seen him go a little bit earlier. Neil, tell me about your thinking about taking Jabari Parker right here.
Yeah, so we're in round 8 now, and like we talked about, I'm like one center short. I'm like one block rebounder away. So I'm either looking for a 4 that can get those stats or a 5. And I didn't see anyone that was good value. I think Bell, like you said, could be good, but he's just too much of a risk. There's just so much talent on that team. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. And even if he does, I'm not sure how he's going to do in the other stat categories. I agree. If he plays 20-plus minutes, his blocks will be fine. But I don't even know if his rebounds will be great because of all the other players. So to me, he was a little too big of a risk. I took Parker mainly because I was looking for, okay, who could just really jump in the top 60 or 70, and I can get here at 93. And maybe it's my hometown bias. I'm here in Chicago. He's a Chicago guy. He's playing now for Chicago. So I just want to be able to watch him and root for him. I've always been impressed with his offensive game. I know defensively he, let's just say, is not the best. So, but I believe this team believes in him, and they want to make him one of their focal points. So, and they're going to be, I think, a faster pace this year. So I think he could put up good offensive stats. So that's why I took him. It's more of a swing for the fences than anything else.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think Jabari Parker, the Bulls, it's clear, are going to give him every chance to succeed. They truly do believe in him, bringing him there. Sounds like he's going to start at the 3. We know he can fill it up, as you said. He can score. It's the lack of defensive stats, which is why I'm usually a little bit off, of him. But hey, right here at pick 93 in the 8th round, I think there's a great shot. As you said, Ken Finish is like a player maybe in the 60 range. So to take a shot at him right here in 93 is not bad. And then, as you said, with Jordan Bell and with a guy like Jonathan Isaac that I mentioned earlier, their value really comes in those defensive stats. So they're really not going to bring those offensive numbers. So you got to make sure you got some pretty good scores on your team. And, Richard, who took Bell here, he's got James Harden, he's got Kemba Walker. So he's got some guys that can really fill it up. So I thought that was a pretty nice pick. And then again, I just want to touch, I really like your take on Larry Nance Jr., a guy with LeBron gone. There's going to be a lot of usage there in that front court. He can play the 5, he can play the 4. So he can play next to Kevin Love, even if he's coming off the bench, behind Tristan Thompson. You still see him getting minutes in that upper 20 range and can be a really decent player. So I really like that take. All right, Neil, should we move on to round 9?
Let's do it. I'm going to, I just have to close the window. I'll be right back. Okay.
If yes. You want to go in order, you don't got to go backwards like I did.
Yes. I don't know if I can count backwards anymore. Okay. 97, beginning round 9, Jakob Portal. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. But anyway, 98, Carmelo Anthony. 99, Thaddeus Young. 100, Evan Fournier. 101, Dennis Smith Jr., 102, Mario Hezonja, 103, Luka Doncic, 104, DJ Augustine, 105, Tyreek Evans, 106th, Buddy Hield, 107th, JJ Redick, 108th, Bogdan Bogdanovic. You want to start us off in your analysis of some of these picks?
Yeah, and I really love this round. I don't see a single bad pick in this round other than Carmelo Anthony. Neil, I am done with Carmelo Anthony, a guy I will probably never draft again. Yes, he's joining the Rockets, which if he was going to kind of revive his value anywhere, it would be in that Houston Rockets offense. So I do understand he did land in the perfect place. All he really needs to do is just stay out on that wing, score, but not a guy I love. But Neil, every other pick in this round is just absolutely home run. My favorites, man, Luka Doncic at 103 is ridiculous. This is a guy who could finish maybe in the 50 range if he's the guy that we think he is. He could bring the point guard stats, and I love that pick. I picked Mario Hezonja. I love Hezonja this year. Should start at the 3 for the Knicks. I think he's going to be really good. Really like what I saw from him last year in Orlando. Thad Young should be a decent value at 99. Dennis Smith Jr. at 101 could, a little disappointing last year, but I know he's way better than what we saw from him last year. So wouldn't surprise me if he could finish maybe somewhere in the 70 to 80 range. So to get him right here at 101, good value. What did you think of this round, Neil?
Yeah, I agree. There are some really good value picks here. Portal, first of all, let's go there. I think I don't know where he's going to end up. So that's definitely a flyer. Anthony, agree. I would not take him this early. Thaddeus Young, I thought was good value. Dennis Smith Jr., I love him as a reality player, but as fantasy, I'm worried that his stats still might not be great, his percentages and his turnovers. So I'm not sure he'll break the 100 again, the top 100 this year. He might, like you said. He's definitely a guy who we expect to be a very good NBA player in the next couple of years, if not this year. So we'll see. Doncic, I totally agree. At 103, I think is great value. The one other player I think is a little bit overdrafted is DJ Augustine. There's been news now, or not news, but there's been some rumors that Jaren Grant may get as many minutes as Augustine at the starting point guard in Orlando. So if that's the case, Augustine didn't even finished around 150 last year, and so if he's not going to get boosted up into the starting role, 104 seems a little bit early here for him. But the other picks, Tyreek Evans, I think should finish in top 100. Buddy Hield, I think, will finish in top 100. Redick and Bogdanovic as well. So, and you sneaked in there and got Hezonja. I was hoping to get him in the next round. So why'd you do that, Adrian? How do you take my picks?
We talked about earlier in the show how the centers are scarce, but we really like some of the guards and wing guys that go off. Hezonja is a guy that I target right around here because, as you know, Neil, my strategy is to go really heavy on the centers and the point guards early. So I'm always looking for wing guys here. Mario Hezonja, a guy I target heavily. I think he's going to be really good. The Knicks are going to be really bad. So for fantasy-wise, we don't care about how many wins the Knicks get. We just care about the usage and how many minutes these players get. And the Knicks are really lacking talent out on the wing. And I think Hezonja really landed in the perfect place. So I really like him here. Lastly, Tyreek Evans, very interesting also in this round at 105. Really interesting to see how his role is going to be on the Pacers. And then Buddy Hield, JJ Redick, Bogdan, interesting values again in this round. So really great round right here, Neil.
Yeah, do you want to take us into round 10?
Let's do it. Let's go into round 10. Let me make sure I'm going in order this time. 109, Derek Favors. 110, Kelly Olynyk. 111, Mo Bamba. 112, Chetty Osman. 113, Montrezl Harrell. 114, Harrison Barnes. 115, I took Markelle Fultz. 116, Taj Gibson. 117, Neil, you took Willie Cauley-Stein. 118, Brogdon. 119, did I put Thaddeus Young twice? I just realized I put Thaddeus Young
I
twice.
messed up. There must be a. Oh wait.
I think I wrote Thaddeus Young twice.
Oh no, one must have been a Trae Young.
Okay.
They're both T Young. So
okay.
I don't know who's who.
So check this out. This is my fault right here. I wrote this when I was writing down the picks coming off the board. I was just putting first initial, last name. There's 2 T Youngs in the NBA, Neil. We got a Trae Young. We got a Thaddeus Young. We don't know right now which one of these guys went at 94. Which one of these guys went at 99? Which one went at 119? I don't know. Let me ask you. Yeah. If you had to guess, who would you guess went first?
I would. This is tough. I'm assuming all these people listen to Dan Bespris, so they would have to love Thaddeus Young. Then again, Trae Young is, one of the most talked about rookies.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Trae went first only because he's almost guaranteed to get that starting role.
Okay, check this out. Yeah. Christian Slick Rock started with Towns, Butler, Lowry, Aldridge, Horford, Lopez, Dragic. Kind of wondering if he went point guard right here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big men by now. Maybe he took Trae Young right here.
I would guess Trae Young was last round. This round is Thaddeus Young, so even better on the value there. Anyway, continue.
So anyways, 119, I'm going to say Thaddeus Young. 120, Fred VanVleet. Neil, what are your thoughts on this round?
All right, so let's look at, I think, good values. First of all, I like Harrell at 113. He's one of the centers I think that could do just fine this year. And I think I know his free throw percentage isn't great, but I don't think he takes that many. And I think he might end up with a starting position out in Los Angeles. The other, I think, might be a good value, in addition to Thaddeus Young, is Taj Gibson. I think he's going to get the same role as he had last year. And as we all know, Tibbs plays the starters a lot. So he finished, I'm not sure where he finished last year, but I think in round 10, he's a good value. Those are the ones, like, some of these guys I like as real players. I just don't know how they're going to do fantasy-wise. Chetty Osman could do well. Mo Bamba could do well. Olynyk and Favors could have good years as well, but I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I think they're taking it at the right spot. I just don't think I would take those guys. What are your thoughts on this round?
So my favorite picks are, in the last round, I took Hazonia, and I talk about wing guys I love to target right in this range. Another guy that I have in that group is Chetty Osman. Neil, I think Chetty Osman's going to be a great value. Really like what I saw from him last year. And with LeBron gone, it just opens up this giant window of usage and minutes. And I think Chetty Osman's going to really play really well in that small forward position. I think he's going to start. I think he's going to be a great value this year. Love that pick at 112. Another interesting pick, Mo Bamba at 111 by Eric Ong. We've been talking nonstop centers, blocks. When you miss out on those centers and blocks, my emergency backup plan is Mitchell Robinson, who we see is going to go in the next round, and Mo Bamba. Now, these are two guys with very cloudy, their minutes projection is very cloudy. But Neil, their block rate is so high that in a short 15-minute span, let's say these guys just get minutes in the 15-minute range, they could give you 2 or 3 blocks in that time. So really, if you're really hunting blocks late, you missed out. Love Mo Bamba and love Mitchell Robinson. Also hearing some rumblings that Nikola Vucevic could be on the block, that the Magic could be shopping Vucevic. And if that happens, we're going to see Bamba's draft price and his average draft position just shoot up the board here. So I thought that was a really good pick by Eric Ong. And then, Neil, I like your pick of Willie Cauley-Stein. You said in round 8 that you were kind of hunting blocks. Jabari Parker, you took Evan Fournier. Willie Cauley-Stein's a guy who could potentially be a block guy. The front court of the Kings is a little cloudy with the addition of Marvin Bagley and the emergence of Harry Giles. They got Scal there as well. But I still believe that Willie Cauley-Stein will get some good minutes. And I don't think we've seen the best of Willie Cauley-Stein yet. I think he's got some room for improvement. So I thought that was a pretty good pick right there. The picks that I didn't like, I really thought Fred VanVleet right here. You probably could have got him in like the last round. I don't know if he's even going to get usage or minutes here. We got a new offense, a new coaching staff in Toronto. He's not projected to start, I don't think. So I think that's a little questionable. Neil, any additional thoughts on this round?
No, I like how Markelle Fultz at 115. I have no idea what to expect from this year. So I guess I know you like point guards. Was that your reason for taking him?
So again, the reason why I'm taking him, I'm targeting Markelle Fultz in the 85 range. We're at pick 115, and I saw him there, and I just could not. You know what it was, Neil? I was like typing all these picks as they're coming off the board. I'm chatting with people in the chat room. All of a sudden, I'm up to pick. I haven't been really paying attention. I just look at the guys that I love, and I see that I'm getting such great value on them. I just pounced on them. I ended up with way too many point guards on this team. Let me just name them off for you. Giannis, I consider point guard like. Donovan Mitchell, D'Angelo Russell, Deontay Murray, Markelle Fultz. I took De'Aaron Fox in the later round. I ended up with way too many point guards on this team. Not enough centers. But I really do like Markelle Fultz right here in 115. I consider him safe in the 85 range. Neil, I know, what happened to him last year was really strange. Him having that, his shot getting lost, him having a case of the yips, really, really odd. But Neil, everything I'm hearing this offseason is that his shot looks great. He's been working out with Drew Hanlon, the shot guru, and everything's looking good. You're hearing from some of his teammates like JJ Redick that he looks amazing and he's going to be a future all-star. I'm buying in, Neil. This guy went first pick last year for a reason. He very athletic. He's an elite ball handler. So as long as he gets that shot figured out and worked out, this could be a really great option here. And what a great addition to that Sixers team with Embiid and Simmons, and now possibly adding an elite point guard in Fultz. So I'm buying in on Fultz. I'm really happy to get him here at pick 115.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he's going to pan out. And not both in as a real life basketball player and fantasy basketball player. I'm a little hesitant, but we shall see. Should I move on to round 11?
Yes, please.
Okay, so 121, Mitchell Robinson. 122, Elfrid Payton. 123, Eric Gordon. 124, I took Avery Bradley. 125, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. 126, is this Jaren Jackson?
Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson. Did you wear your loose? Okay, anyway. 127, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. 128, Willie Hernan-Gomez. 129, Al-Farouq Aminu. 130, Kyle Kuzma. 131, Adrian, you were slacking. And 132, Danilo Gallinari. So that 131, I guess you just missed. And so we don't have a pick for that. But let me jump into my analysis first, if I may, and tell you who I really like in this round. I did not love my pick. But I did really like Fodi's pick. He took Rondae Hollis-Jefferson at 127. He finished about 100th last year, depending on 8 or 9 or totals or averages. And I think he's going to play more minutes this year. I think Hollis-Jefferson will be somewhere between 80 and 100. Willie Hernan-Gomez, I don't know if he's ever going to play the minutes that we expect him to, but if he does, it's not bad just kind of taking a flyer on him. I also like Danilo Gallinari, 132. I think you might be able to get him later because everyone's probably forgotten about him, but I think he is going to be on a per game in the 70 or above or better. But yes, he is probably going to be injured for part of the season, if not a lot. So there's a huge risk there, but if he's not injured, it's a great pick. Do you want to talk about your pick and also your thoughts on this round?
Yeah, I went back to the wing spot again. Again, another guy that I used to like to take, Josh Jackson. I put him in the same group as Hazonia and as Cedi Osman. Now, Neil, when we did this mock draft, which was 2 weeks ago, we've had a trade since then. Ryan Anderson, now on the Phoenix Suns, kind of knocks Josh Jackson down a little bit for me because I was really hoping Josh Jackson would get some run at the 4 power forward spot. From what we're hearing, the Suns might be planning on starting Ryan Anderson there. I think that's going to hurt Josh Jackson a little bit. So going back now, knowing that, I probably would not have taken Josh Jackson there. I still do think he's an interesting flyer really, really late in your draft, but just not as high on him as I was when we did this mock draft. Real interesting pick for me, Mitchell Robinson at 121. I think this is a little early. I was really hoping to get him around later or maybe in the very last round. Again, the blocks are just impossible to find this late. He could be a guy that is just might be at this spot the highest, can provide the highest amount of blocks at this spot of the draft. So I can't blame Richard for taking him right there. If his goal was to hunt that stat, that's completely understandable. A lot of risk in this round. As you said, Willy Hernangomez, we're just not sure. What's his minutes? What's his usage? We don't know. Danilo Gallinari, I'm really scared of his health. I'm always off of him, but at this point could be a decent value if he stays healthy because we know he's a really solid player and he should have a pretty decent role on the Clippers. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I actually kind of like your Avery Bradley pick, Neil. At this point, you like to think, even though the Clippers are really crowded in the backcourt, you like to think that Avery Bradley's still going to get some decent minutes and have enough of a role to provide some solid value right here at this point of the draft. Neil, any closing thoughts on this round?
No, I think that sums up pretty well. Take us back on round 12.
All right, round 12, pick 133, Bam Adebayo. Pick 134, Dennis Schroeder. Pick 135, I'm guessing this is Jeremy Grant of the OKC Thunder. I'm just thinking there's another Jay Grant, isn't there?
But Jerry Grant, but you're probably right. It's probably Jeremy Grant.
I think this is OKC Thunder's Grant. Brandon Ingram at 136. Sabonis at 137. Jay Brown. Who's it? Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown at 138. You know what? I got to start typing in first names, which is going to make this whole mock draft thing even way harder for me. But whatever. I'm going to do it. De'Aaron Fox at 139. 140, Kent Bazemore. 141, Rudy Gay. 142, Marvin Williams. 143, Marcin Gortat. And the last pick around 12, pick 144, Terry Rozier. Neil, what are your thoughts on this round?
Yeah, I'm not sure why Terry Rozier was drafted. But I guess he could be okay. I mean, there are talks about him getting traded. So maybe if he gets a starter's role, be good. Or maybe if Kyrie gets hurt. But it just seems I didn't have him on board. Let's see. Other guys, De'Aaron Fox, if I can pronounce his name right. I think I'm a little worried about his percentages, but I think he does have the keys to the kingdom, so we'll see how he does this year. So, no, I really like taking guys in the last couple rounds that could do really well that are still out there, and he's one of them. Same with Brandon Ingram, another great pick, I think. Bam Adebayo, I would like to think if he got the minutes, he could do it. I just don't think he's going to get the minutes this year. Dennis Schroeder, I don't think it's a bad pick here either. I think there's been talk that he might play the 2 alongside Westbrook and maybe even finish games, so he could do okay. Jeremy Grant, I don't know his stats set enough. He's probably gonna get plenty of run in OKC. We'll see how much usage he gets. And let's see. Oh, my pick, Rudy Gay. I know he's kind of on the back half of his career, if not the final legs of his career, but I just think he's going to start in San Antonio, and I think when he starts, he puts up numbers across the board, so he might work out. We'll see. What are your thoughts on these picks?
So I thought this was a nice mix of safe picks and some high upside guys. My favorite safe picks, Kent Bazemore, I think is pretty safe here at 140. As long as he doesn't get traded, should have really decent usage and minutes on a team with the Atlanta Hawks that are lacking a lot of talent. I think your pick of Rudy Gay at this point, 141, is very safe. Should have a great role, should have some good usage with the Spurs. I thought that was pretty safe. And then I really like the upside picks here. I think Brandon Ingram, there's possibility he can finish higher than 136. I'm pretty happy to get a guy like De'Aaron Fox here. Again, in retrospect, too many guards. Likely I would have gone a different direction now. But in general, if you need a point guard, second to last round at this spot, love De'Aaron Fox right there. Terry Rozier, I agree with you. There's some picks that have some real question marks. Rozier, I think as a backup, don't think he's going to get usage. Chance, as you said, he could get moved. There's a team like the Phoenix Suns that are looking for a point guard. He would make a really interesting fit there in Phoenix. I would really love to see something like that happen. And then, Jeremy Grant, another guy I want to throw in that high upside group, right? This is a guy I think who can finish a lot higher than this. Melo gone. They brought him back. I think he's going to have a really nice role. Not going to be a huge scorer, but it's going to really bring a lot of the defensive stats, some rebounding. So I really like this pick here. Dennis Schroeder, I'm not too sure on. I'll probably avoid him completely just because likely going to come off the bench. We're just not sure, how many minutes exactly is he going to play? Is he going to share some time in the backcourt next to Russell Westbrook? Is he strictly going to be the backup? We're just not sure. So I'm just not willing to take a risk on him there where there's some upside guys here still. Bam Adebayo, another guy I want to put in that risk group. We're just not sure yet what his role, what his usage, what his minutes are going to be. Neil, any closing thoughts on this round?
No, I like that. There are mixtures of guys who can do low-end stats that are safe, and then there are guys that might, like you said, jump up in the top 100 if they get the usage or the stats that they could get if they get a lot of playing time. So should we go to the final round?
Yes. Is it
all right?
Is it your turn?
I believe so. Round 13, 145 Austin Rivers, 146 Reggie Jackson, 147 Jay Crowder, 148 Jeremy Lin, 149 Tyler Johnson, 150 DeMarcus Cousins. That was sneaky, Adrian. Good job. 151 Justin Holiday. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. 152 Josh Hart, 153 Brandon Knight, 154 Colin Sexton, 155 Alan Crabb, 156 TJ Warren. All right, so at first, I thought Brandon Knight was a great pick here by Shafali in the last round, but as we now know, this happened before the trade, and so now he's buried in Houston, and I don't think he's going to have any fantasy value. Colin Sexton, a nice upside pick by Eric Ong. TJ Warren, I think, is a very safe at 156. This guy could finish around 100 if he's still a big part of that rotation. Josh Hart, 152. I don't know how big his upside is going to be, but I do like him as a reality player. So, and I know the coaching staff really likes him, and LeBron likes cerebral players. So maybe we'll get more time than we expect. I really like your pick of DeMarcus Cousins, just to stash him. And oh yeah, I like this Reggie Jackson pick. I know he has been fantasy, not really good fantasy value recently, and he's injured. He's been injured a lot, but he's still the point guard on a team, and to get a starting point guard who can put up decent fantasy value in the last round is a smart pick in my opinion.
So, Neil, one of the things that I wanted to initially do on this show is I wanted to talk, give out some awards, like who's the best draft value, who's the worst draft value, who's your favorite team of this mock draft. And what I was going to do as far as best draft value goes was this round. You getting Jeremy Lin at 148. Brandon Knight, I was going to say, but as you said, since the trade, he's now backing up Chris Paul. Will probably not draft him here. But at the time, thinking he was the starting point guard of the Suns, what an amazing value at 153. Colin Sexton at 154. I mean, Neil, I feel like this is a guy that could possibly finish in the 100 range, and he went at 154. So as you said, Reggie Jackson should now be the starter in Detroit if he's healthy. I mean, he could easily just kill this value right here of where he got drafted. So the value that went off in this final round is just amazing. And again, as I want to say, we've talked about point guards being available late. And I'll say it again, Reggie Jackson, Jeremy Lin, you mentioned Josh Hart. Point guards a lot deeper than it was in previous seasons. So, and then, again, you mentioned, I mentioned, we felt like we missed out on centers. I literally, at this point, looked at my team and said, oh my gosh, I only got 2 big men. What am I doing? I think I filtered my queue to only show me big men. And I saw that DeMarcus Cousins was still on the board. Not a guy I usually end up with at all, but heck yes, I will take him with my last pick every single real draft I'm in. Likely missed the beginning of the season, but I think eventually he'll get back. Even if he's 75% of what he was before he got hurt, he'll be killing value in the last round. Neil, any closing thoughts on this round?
Yeah, there's still a lot of decent value plays out there even after we finish this. But yeah, so this is what kind of frustrates me with fantasy basketball is that there are still 4 or 5 guys undrafted that I would like to have on my roster, but it's just there aren't that many spots. So, yeah, I feel like there are, like you said, serviceable point guards. I mean, Patrick Beverley didn't even get drafted in this league, which I think looking back is probably a mistake. So I like you, I think there are some really good value plays here at the end, and I think there are still many more out there. So that's what I got. You want to do your favorite team? Do you have someone here who I'm trying to stall as I look through the teams. I need to kind of do a little more analysis. Is there a team that jumps out to you?
Man, I really like what Chef Ali did here. Getting Westbrook, Lillard, Middleton, Tobias Harris, got some decent middle round big men that I love to target, and DeAndre Ayton, Wendell Carter Jr. I love some of the wing guys he took really late in Jetty Osman, Brandon Ingram, Tyreek Evans, where we think could be pretty good value. So I really like what he did. And then, Richard poached a lot of my guys here, getting Miles Turner in round 3, Jared Allen in round 5, Mitchell Robinson in round 11. I love the Jordan Bell. I really like that Richard, he took care of those blocks, and then also took care of the guard play with James Harden, Kemba Walker, Gary Harris, got Lonzo Ball. So pretty decent team. I would almost say Richard might be one of my favorite teams, but then he took some real questionable picks in Fred VanVleet and Terry Rozier. Austin Rivers, a guy I probably would not even touch in the top 156. So what about you, Neil? Any favorite teams here?
Let's see. I like Eric Ong's team. I think it's pretty solid all the way through. Looking at his draft picks, and then like you said, Chef Ali is a decent team. I also like Christian Slick Rock's team. It's hard to say, until we all play out. But I think there's a handful of teams here that I think that could finish first. That this was a real team. Even UPCC, I think, has a solid team. So, I like to put my team against all these guys and see how we do. Unfortunately, that's the downside of the mock drafts. It just goes away once it's all done. So
you know what, Neil? I agree. This would have been a really fun league to play out. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. But I had a really fun time mock drafting with you, Chef Ali, with Eric Ong, and a lot of the Hoop Ball listeners. Let's do this again in a couple weeks. Let's see, what's changed. How different are the rankings? Are any of these guys moving? Is, Miles Turner went in round 3? Where's he going? Really curious to see how different it'll be. And had a lot of fun. Neil, should we wrap this show up?
Let's do it. Well, yeah, that was our first mock, and hopefully to those of you who are listening, found some value in going through that exercise. If there's some more interest, like we said, we'd probably like to do one more, I would think, right? At least one more between now and the start date. Maybe to celebrate the beginning of the preseason or something.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Let's do it right before preseason, which, Neil, that's the 28th. Today's the 7th, and that's the 28th. I mean, 21 days to preseason. It's amazing. You guys go and get the Hoop Ball Draft Guide. I just got it. I'm going to unwrap it. I'm going to dive into it this weekend. The projections, the rankings, the columns. We're adding stuff to it. The entire offseason, preseason, we're going to keep building on this thing. It's $13.99 right now. And I believe if you guys listen to the In This League podcast, Dan Bespris is going to give out a promo code that's going to give you additional discount on top of that. Go get the draft guide, you guys. Follow us on Twitter at Ball with Neil. And if you have anything a little funny and creative that maybe Neil can use, shoot it over to Neil. I'm at Adrian Benjamins. You guys hit us up, man. Neil, I still want to do some, maybe a show, a mailbag, a questioner, like a questions type show. I think that would be great. Neil, what do you got going on this weekend? Where are you jet setting to? Where is the private jet? It's refueling right now. Where is it taking you to this weekend?
So Dan Vespers has this running joke on that on your age, and you have this running joke on me somehow traversing. Yes, it is the antithesis of that. I will be here in Chicago and have some work to do, and football starts again. So I'm sure I'll be watching some of that. What are you up to? I'm with you, man. I'm really excited about football. I know this is a basketball show. You and I are basketball nerds, but football kind of provides that necessary distraction that I need during this lull time. I had a really fun football draft this past weekend. Neil, our buddy Frank actually joined our league, our football league. He substituted drafted for a guy that couldn't make it to the draft, ended up taking over the team. So really excited. Football season just starting. Really, I'm just really geeked about it. One of the things I love about football is it's a real crapshoot. I feel like there's a lot of luck involved in fantasy football. And, I'm a real novice when it comes to football knowledge, but I love that there's something that I need to learn a lot about and that I'm kind of new to. So I really love football. And then other than that, man, I'm just happy we're getting closer and closer to the start of the season. Me personally, I'm just going to relax this weekend, spend some time with the family, do some mock drafts. Neil, you're going to get a text from me to join me in some mock drafts this weekend. Hey, man, anytime. Weekend, weekday, midday, late night, you text me, I'm in. All right?
All right, Neil, let's put a bow on this. Close us out, bud.
All right, Adrian. For Adrian Benjamins, I am Neil Rochlani. Thank you for listening and have a great weekend.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.